From hurricanes to landslides, all the way to gruesome park accidents and ride malfunctions. It's safe to say that amusement parks can be absolutely terrifying. We are taking a trip to the past today as we count down some of the creepiest amusement parks that have some disturbing stories behind their closure. Starting off today, we are talking about La Feria. On September 28, 2019, La Feria Amusement Park in Mexico City faced a tragic accident that led to its permanent closure. A train on the Chimera ride derailed, plunging 30 feet to the ground. This horrific incident resulted in 2 men losing their lives after sustaining fatal head injuries, while 2 women were hospitalized and 6 others were treated at the scene. Shockingly, it was later revealed that none of the park's rides had received routine maintenance. Truly the worst thing you could possibly hear when it comes to a theme park or anywhere with rides. This tragedy prompted the park to shut down for good, which was probably for the best, but it's unfortunate that it takes for these kinds of things to happen before people realize the danger. Despite the closure, however, the site has since been revitalized with the opening of a new amusement park featuring a variety of rides and attractions, bringing back the fun to the area with a hopefully better outcome this time. Maybe a couple safety checks in there, you know? Just ideas, just throwing them out. Next, we are talking about Dadi Park. Opened in the 1950s by a priest in Belgium, this park aimed to provide experiences for families that were affordable and unforgettable. It was made for the children of the pilgrims who served at the Basilica of Our Lady d'Adazella. It was originally created as more of a playground, but it later turned into a more modern-style amusement park that was meant to be affordable for every family in the village. Unfortunately, for one visitor, his unforgettable experience involved him losing an arm while riding on the Nautic jet ride. Following fierce backlash from visitors, including complaints about other safety concerns, because apparently this was not the first time that there had been injuries and safety issues, the park closed in 2002. Now, the abandoned park is a haunting reminder of its past, with only broken rides and an eerie atmosphere remaining. There are plans to revamp the area into a new recreational space, but it's uncertain if these changes will be enough to erase the grim memories of its history. Next, we are heading over to the Williams Grove Amusement Park in Pennsylvania, which is like a time capsule of thrills, having delighted crowds from 1850 all the way to 2005. That's absolutely crazy. When the rides stopped and the gates closed, the park didn't lose its charm. It just changed from bustling to ghostly. The aging roller coasters and carousels still stand, giving the abandoned site a haunted vibe that's both eerie and intriguing. Capturing the spirit of its spooky ambiance, the owners actually threw open the gates for a special one-night event in 2016 on Halloween, letting visitors step back into a world where the echoes of past excitement mingled with the whispers of mystery. But honestly, what more could you want with a creepy abandoned amusement park? Like a Halloween party? I don't know. I'm just saying, that's kind of cool. I feel like I would have gone. Definitely wouldn't have gone on the rides though. Next, we are talking about River Country. So, did you know that even Disney, the giant of amusement parks, has had to shut down some of its attractions? One of the most notable examples is River Country, the first water park at Walt Disney World. Initially, it was a hit with visitors, but tragedy struck when 3 visitors lost their lives under horrific circumstances. One from a brain-eating amoeba found in the water, absolutely terrifying, and the other 2 from drowning, also terrifying. Despite these tragic events, River Country remained open. It was temporarily closed for maintenance, but following a tragic day in 2001 American history, the United States experienced a significant drop in tourism. As a result, Disney decided not to reopen the park, and it has remained closed ever since. The park's story remains a very haunting chapter in the otherwise magical world of Disney. Or is it really that magical? Or is that just what we see on the surface? I don't know. Next, we are talking about the Holy Land experience in Orlando, Florida, which was more than just a Christian amusement park. It was a blend of theme park entertainment and spiritual study designed to resemble the ancient city of Jerusalem. Founded by Marvin Rosenthal in 2001, this park took visitors back to 1st century Judea, showcasing biblical artifacts and recreations of historical events. However, the park was not without its controversies, of course. Right from the start, it faced criticism and legal challenges, particularly around its attempts to gain tax-exempt status. Critics argued that the park's activities verged on proselytizing, which means trying to convert others to your belief, especially concerning its outreach to Jewish visitors, stirring accusations from groups like the Jewish Defense League. Despite these challenges, the park initially secured a tax exemption in 2005, equating it with museums providing historical insight. Owned by the Trinity Broadcasting Network from 2007, the park saw expansions and added attractions like live shows and biblical reenactments. Yet, financial woes eventually took their toll. In 2020, a significant downturn in revenue forced the park to lay off most of its staff and shut down, leading to its sale in 2021. The once vibrant, thematic ground known for its blending entertainment with spirituality is now set for a new chapter under the ownership of Advent Health, marking an end to its controversial yet unique presence in Orlando's tourist scene. Next, we are heading over to the Blue Bayou Water Park and Dixielandin. We are talking about the Extreme Ride in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It was once known for its sky-high thrills, but it became the center of a very tragic controversy. On July 11th, 2010, a visitor named Lindsay Zeno decided to ride the Extreme Coaster. Despite its only 3 years in operation, disaster unfortunately struck during her ride. Lindsay tragically fell 30 feet from the coaster, succumbing to her injuries later. Witnesses reported seeing her attempt to secure her safety restraint as the coaster took a sharp turn which sent her flying. An investigation followed but failed to conclusively determine whether it was a malfunction of the safety mechanism or if it had just never been locked properly. While the park itself remains open to the public, the accident led to the permanent closure of the ride, marking a very somber end to one of the park's main attractions. Next, we are heading over to Spreepark in Germany, which definitely has had its share of ups and downs and a whole lot of drama. Opening in 1991, this amusement park had a brief decade-long run before financial troubles forced it to close. But the real controversy kicked off when the park's owner, Norbert Witt, hightailed it to Peru with his family, bizarrely taking some of the park's rides along for the journey. In 2003, they returned to Germany with a shocking souvenir: 400 pounds of what we'll call booger sugar hidden in one of those rides. Both Witt and his son ended up behind bars, and after his release, he lived right there in the rundown park where his daughter even led tours through the dilapidated attractions. Imagine being able to and this is the ride where my dad hid 400 pounds of cocaine from Peru. That's just crazy. Adding a bit of Hollywood to its history, the park served as a filming location for the movie Hannah, but in 2014, much of Spreepark was destroyed in a fire suspected to be arson, adding yet another dramatic chapter to its very troubled existence. Next, we are talking about Six Flags New Orleans, a theme park that captured the hearts of many during its short lifespan from 2000 to 2005, but it unfortunately met an untimely end when Hurricane Katrina left the park submerged under 6 feet of water. The floodwaters lingered for over a month, causing extensive damage and marking the end of the park's operation. Before the disaster, the park was a vibrant hub with 6 themed areas, including zones dedicated to DC Comics superheroes and Looney Tunes characters. Today, the remains of over 24 rides like the Ozark Splash Log Flume and the Zydeco Scream roller coaster still haunt the site. In a twist of fate, the city of New Orleans announced a controversial plan to transform the abandoned grounds into a multi-purpose venue featuring a movie studio, sports complex, and family entertainment center, sparking debate about the site's future and its historical significance. Some people say that just leaving the abandoned park alone is too much, as the remnants are a constant reminder of the devastating impact that the hurricane had on the scene. Next, we are talking about Mimaland, short for Malaysia in Miniature Land, was a pioneering theme park just outside of Kuala Lumpur. Opened in 1975 as the first theme park in Malaysia, Mimaland was a beacon of fun, drawing crowds from all over to the quiet village. From 1975 to 1994, it dazzled as Southeast Asia's first theme park, complete with an artificial lake, a massive swimming pool with giant slides, and even a prehistorical animal kingdom. However, the park's tale took a very dark turn in the early 1990s due to a series of unfortunate events. In January 1993, a devastating drowning incident involving a visitor from Singapore led to the temporary shutdown of Mimaland. The following year, during renovation efforts in the same pool area, a landslide occurred, wreaking havoc on nearby structures and causing mud to seep into the pool, rendering it unusable. After grappling with a host of legal, technical, and safety challenges, Mimaland was unfortunately forced to permanently close its doors to the public by the end of 1994, marking the end of its almost two-decade run. Today, overtaken by lush forest, the park's crumbling structures and moss-covered statues stand as silent witnesses to its former glory, enveloping the area in an aura of mystery and legend. The winding road to Mimaland, known as one of Malaysia's most haunted paths, only adds to the park's mysterious allure, making it a magnet for those drawn to the thrill of exploring abandoned places. And finally, to close out our list today, we are talking about Yongma Land in Seoul, which stands out as one of the creepiest theme parks you can still visit, and it only costs a small fee to get in. The park's branding is a little bit all over the place, which definitely adds to its very quirky charm. Most of the rides are still standing, though they're chipped and have been taken over by nature, giving the place a very ghostly vibe. Despite, or perhaps because of, its eerie atmosphere, it's become a huge hit among urban explorers looking for a dose of adrenaline mixed with a splash of nostalgia. It's not your typical theme park, but it's definitely one that stirs up some controversy and a little bit of fascination. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye!